me this one's going to go big.
Hello and welcome back to the channel. So in the previous video, the online video web hovel episode 3, I got quite stuck into trying to get the £100 at the end of the little trail here, the little dice trail on red, and the machine was absolutely not having it. I hadn't tried to do it before making the video. I didn't realise that it would just hard block it like it did. In the video, I gave up after 400 quid and just took the feature, exchanged in and took the mega streaks that way. However, I wasn't done with it. I decided to keep going, so I set auto player about the task, and that is what you can see in front of us here. This is Andy Capp running with an auto player profile, and on this session alone, if you look up at the top, auto player has put just over £7,000 through it. £25 collected. That was early on when it was using the where's the rent square. As per the previous video, when the machine's on its ass and it's in a bad mood, it will fuck you about with that where's the rent square. But once it gets some life in it, and certainly once it starts redding up, it will not hit that. It has not hit the where's the rent square now for about £6,900 in. Now, it's a really simple auto player profile, this one. All it's doing is putting some money in, it's pressing start, it's got a 10% chance to hit the 3 hold buttons, pressing start again, and then it's just looping round. Super simple auto play profile, because we don't want it to collect anything. The total stats on this machine now are 7,852 quid in, 720 quid out, and it's paying at 9.17%. Current session stats, 7,020 quid in, 25 quid out, and it's running at 0.36%. The machine overall has a drift of £6,035 in its favour, and it hasn't changed its profile. It is doing exactly what you can see in front of us here. So what it does, and let's just watch it loop round a couple of times, because this actually does it about as quick as I could do it myself, to be honest. So what it'll do, and it'll do exactly what we saw yesterday, it'll hit one of the values there, and then it'll go back and it'll kill itself. It'll hit the same value again. That'll be it. It'll go to the bottom of the trail. I absolutely guarantee you it will not hit the where's the rent square. And then it'll slowly start climbing up again. It'll get knocked. It usually gets knocked. Sometimes it goes up a couple of times in quick succession, which it has done there. It has actually gone up a couple of times in quick succession. It'll hit a value. It'll hit on the same value again, and then you'll go all the way back to the start. It always misses the where's the rent square. And then we're up again. Let's just see what it does on this one, because we got up really quickly last time. See there, obviously it's been redding up for about 6,900 quid through it at this point, but it has now done the same for every single time it gets to the top. It does exactly the same thing. It hits one value and then it lands on that value again, which ends it. And can you see here, by the way, even though this machine it will still mug you around on the squares here, it'll drop you back down sometimes as well. Is it going to go to the end? Oh, it's gone to the end again. Sometimes it'll want 20, 30 quid to go back up to the top, something like that. So what we were doing over at Desert Island Fruits, we were having a little bit of a chat about this, and a few people have suggested the same basic thing. And they have done in comments as well, which is maybe it's hard blocking the £100 because it can't do 200 quid. That's the thing. Betcoms can't do 200. They're capped at 150. So it can never do a repeat on 100 quid. So is the code blocking it? I mean, I would have just thought, well, it could give you the red £100 and then not repeat. Maybe there's a problem in the code where there's some kind of flag that it's flagged to repeat, but then the machine knows it can't do 200 quid, so it never gives it. Or maybe that there is just something in the code, even though it's there as a value, even though that red £100 is there, the code simply has a hard block in it to not allow it under any circumstances to be awarded. Now, if you look at a couple of the other machines that have the same kind of trail, and they have the same thing at the end, on Jailbreak here, it's Asbo Antics, but can you see? Let me just put that in so we can see it, the whole thing. Can you see there? That's the equivalent of that feature on Andy Capp, the end of the trail feature. But can you see there? One of them is actually jailbreak, which is the same as you've got up at the top. That's the top feature there, is jailbreak. That's your mega streak. But it can also award it off the end of the trail. And if you look at one of the other ones, let's get cracking. That's the same. There, you see? There's that, and that's actually in the same place as Andy Capp. See there, that can offer Let's Get Cracking, which again is your top streak. There it is at the actual top of the feature board. So the difference with those two is that they have got ways to just give you the mega streak up at the top. So I guess they could have fixed this by changing that £100. Instead of having that as a £100 value, just have that as mega streak, which is the top feature there. And then it can just give you a 100 or a 150. But whatever the exact reason is, and I guess that's unknowable without actually being able to interrogate the code itself. We don't know. We can only theorise. But I can say with a high degree of confidence now that is utterly and completely blocked. One way or another, however, whatever the technicalities of why it won't award it, I do quite like the theory that because a Betcom can't do 200, it's not going to give you a red 100 because it can never repeat. That kind of makes sense, but I still don't say, well, wait, maybe it just doesn't repeat. Wouldn't that make it? That would fix it? I don't know. So, we don't need to, this has been going now for over 8 hours. I've just had autoplay doing its thing off to the side. It's been hammering away at that for 8 hours. I haven't been watching it every second, obviously, but one thing that I've kept an eye on there is that out figure there, that 25 quid out, which it did early on the Where's the Rent Square. That has not changed all day. So I can tell you for a fact this thing has had, well, better part now of £7,000 through it. And it hasn't collected anything. It also raised one interesting little thought to me, by the way. What if on the real machine, the exchange for feature button was broken? So that's what I'm actually going to do now. Because I think we have established absolutely that you can't get the red 100 at the end of the trail. What I'm going to do is take it to the end of the trail, and then we'll take one of the other values when it's red and see what it wants to do on a repeat. But can you see? Imagine if we had a real machine where the exchange for feature button had been popped or was broken and you couldn't exchange for the feature. It would be impossible to ever get the jackpot on this machine under those circumstances. Yes, you could take other values at the end when it landed on them, but you could never actually get a jackpot on this machine if the exchange to feature button was broken. So sometimes it will still... Look at this, it's still actually... Look at it here. It's still actually mugging me off at the end of the trail. Despite the fact it's got a drift of over £6,000 in its favour, it still wants to dick you around at the end of the trail sometimes. It is utterly remarkable. I don't want to do that because it can still... so we've got everything's red there. All the cash values. Don't you knock me down. Has knocked me down. Thank you for that. We'll do that, so that'll get us past there. Come on. Oh, God, look at this. Can you believe that this machine here is still... Sometimes it'll want 20, 30 quid to get up to the top, something like that. Come on, and now, can we just... Let's just get some credits in case it wants to repeat out to... Look at this! Fucking... I cannot... But I was kind of... I was going to say nice things about Betcoms in the previous video, wasn't I? But having seen the code in this one and what it's capable of doing, I am... Looks to me like there's been a mistake made here to have a red jackpot value at the end of the trail that is utterly and completely attainable. It's just knocked me down again. There we are. Now we're at the end. So everything is red. So, well, we know what it's going to do. So let's just collect 15 quid. Because we know it'll land on it again. And then let's have a look. Oh, what's it done there? Has it crashed or hung or something? That doesn't look to me like it. That looks to me like it's bombed out. Is the actual emulation still running? Yeah, you can see the code is running there. Has it just shit itself? So that hasn't got a slow. I pretend I've got any fucking idea what I'm looking at there. Wizard himself, of course, Chris Wren, could look at that and tell you exactly what all that shit was. I've got no fucking clue. But that looks to me like it's crashed, doesn't it? Let's reset the machine and see what it does. It's just Control R, isn't it? Okay. Let's reset the machine. What I'll do is it's a really, really long one to boot up this. It takes ages to boot up. So I'll just pause the video until it gets back to coming back to life. Right, it is just going... If you load this game up, by the way, and you think it's broken for the first time, it isn't. It's just got an unusually long boot-up sequence. I thought it was bust. The first time I loaded this layout in, I thought there was something wrong with it. It's by far and away the slowest booting Scorpion 5 machine I've ever seen. So, what? We've got £2. It's remembered our... Oh. That doesn't... Have I broken it completely? It hasn't actually come back to life, has it? And now we've got £2 of credit. Our £15 bank has gone. That doesn't... What happens if I open the doors? Okay, it's allowed me to open the doors. Let's just see what it thinks is going on when we open the doors. Okay, it's just finishing its little boot up sequence there with the doors open. What does it think is going on now? Okay, and then we can press, I think it's the test button you press, isn't it? Oh no, I think I've completely killed it. I don't know what kind of... Pressing test doesn't do anything. Pressing test, that's not right. I think I've come up... What I might have to do... This may be one of the resident geniuses over at Desert Island Fruits, people who know far more about how these things work on the back end than me, can bring this thing back to life. But that looks to... I don't know, that just looks to me... You can see there, it is booting. I didn't see... Did it make any kind of... Because I have the volume turned right down so it doesn't come over on the mic. I didn't hear if it made any funny noises or anything when it added that fit, but that just seemed to do it, didn't it? That getting that £15 win just seemed to kill it stone dead. And now something has gone very badly wrong. And the game's not happy to play at all. Let's just let it boot up one more time and see what happens. Okay, here we are. Let's just give it one more go, see what it wants to do. But it's not, it doesn't seem to like it either doors open or doors close. There's our £2 credits again. I can't, is that, can it, okay. So we've got, it does seem to think I've got £2 in credit there. If we have a look, let's just go back. That looks to me like the emulator, I don't know, looks like the emulation itself is running. But this is beyond me now. This has gone past my knowledge, I'm afraid. I will see. I will upload it. I'll zip it up and upload it over to Desert Island Fruits and see if one of the good folks over here can help me. I wanted to get the machine to see what it would do if we started taking some of those values at the top. I think we proved conclusively. I mean, it's not a complete dead loss. We have proved conclusively even that the red £100 is completely and utterly blocked. You cannot get it. It does not exist. Despite it being on the machine as an award, you just can't get it. We couldn't quite do the follow-on, but I wanted to try and collect like a red £50, see if that would repeat out to 150 a few times, something like that, but we can't do anything at the minute. It's dead. I'll have to just put this one on ice for a few hours or a day or whatever it may be, and just hopefully somebody over at Desert Island Fruits will be able to help me.
The next day.
Right, I had completely broken it, so well done on that one, Degsy. A couple of folks over at Desert Island Fruits did take a look, but alas, despite some serious poking of it with a stick, it could not be brought back to life. So what I've done is prepared another, but in a slightly less extreme state. Now, this one, long term, has had £2,100 in it and £1,300 out. It's got a drift of £510 in its favour. And it is, in fact, I should have had it going before we even started. If we just get it going with the auto player profile, just have a quick... Now, this is the thing, by the way. I've got it in a slightly different state, and that's why you will see that here. And that's one of the things that I want to mention here. when you take a value at the top, which is what I've been doing with this, because once it gets in the loop, it is just in the loop, whereby it never hits where's the rent. It hits one value up at the top, and then it lands back on the same value to kill you. Once it's in that loop, that is it. That never changes. However, I'm on 50p a go there as well. Oh, that's not ideal. Come on, Degs. Let's get some money in, and let's get it going again. Trust me, I'm a professional. So yeah, once it gets in the loop, that's it. The loop is the loop, and there's nothing that you can do about it in terms of when it's in the loop and getting it to do anything different. However, of course, when it gets to the top, you do get a chance to collect whatever it lands on. That is the one thing that you can do, is collect something. And when you collect something up at the top here, whatever it is, even if it's just a tenner, you know, with the machine here with a drift of over £500 in its favour, even if you just collect a tenner, it will use the where's the rent square a couple of times. It sees that if you take anything out of it, it's like, oh right, I can fuck you off now with a couple of where's the rent squares. Which is there why you just saw it use a where's the rent square. So let's just see if it's back in the loop yet. There's a red 50 quid. So it looks to me like it's in the loop. Sometimes it will drop in. There seems to be a slight disparity whereby it can be in the loop, but it can still give you a where's the rent square for a little bit afterwards. But once it's fully in, it will never use the where's the rent square, and you always get the sort of two-throw death at the end here. Let's just let it get out one more time. But then what I'll do, I won't mess about this time. We will just collect something. So we'll just let it go up one more time. Even though it's doing the standard arsery. In fact, I'll do it manually just in case, because if it lands on 50 quid, I will actually take the 50 quid. It might put us up here, so I'll stop the auto. God almighty, I've stopped the auto player. So what we'll do is just do it manually. So we've got everything is red now on the cash values. Come on. It's really quite something the way it can do this. I've fallen out with this game. Look at that. I've fallen out with this thing a little bit. It is spectacularly awful. Look at that, the way that it does this. Doesn't matter. Whatever drift it's got in its favour, it's always capable of doing this. Come on. So that's just going to put us straight back to where we were, wasn't it? So let's do that. See if we can get round there this way. Come on, we need a 2. I don't believe it. It's just... It's shocking, isn't it? It's absolutely shocking. I mean, these trail entry machines, I was never a big fan of them, but when you've spent as much time... I mean, look at that now. It's dropping me all the way back down. Every single one of these is £1 a go on a machine that owes us £550. And yet it'll want to do this. To get up to the top. And come on, let's get up there. Jesus God almighty, how much is this costing to get up? Right, let's hold them all and that'll put us up. And then we'll collect. There we are, fucking hell. Right, so everything's red there, isn't it? Okay, so we'll collect a red £5. For the sake of it, let's just collect a red £5. So you'd think there this is going to repeat a bit, wouldn't you? No, there's no repeat. So no repeat on a £5 on a machine that has got it's got a long-term payout of 60%. And it owes us, you see there, it's drifting its favour of 540 quid. There just seems to be something with the Betcom profile where it's just baked in terms of how much it'll want to do certain things and how often things can repeat and that sort of thing, and it just doesn't matter how far behind it is. Sometimes you get lucky and it'll go up twice in quick... Well, I say, there we are. So it's gone up again pretty quickly there. We haven't got many red... So we'll take a red 25 there. So we'll take a red 25. Ah, now it's a true skill repeat. There we are. See that you can slow it down when the Andy Capp logo flashes and that. But that is it. You will only get one repeat on this. And I have done quite a few of these now, where you take a red value up at the top, it doesn't matter which one it is, in my experience, and from a fairly decent sample size as well, I have never seen it repeat on anything more than once. It has repeated on a 50 quid. I thought, oh, well, maybe it could do a 150 from a red 50 quid. I've had it repeat once, but I haven't had it repeat twice, and I haven't had anything repeat twice. Let's just see if it'll let me get another Rick there. It won't, though. It still won't let me get a second Rick. And it will also now, it is actually dodging it there, but it will be prepared to use the where's the rent square. The second that you take anything out of it, it then considers it fair game to use the where's the rent square again. Let's see if we can get back up. There we are. It actually did it pretty quick there. Red tenner. Okay, so we'll take a red tenner. It might give us one repeat, either true skill or just a normal repeat. It hasn't given us a repeat there, and then, oh, it actually, in fairness, it is dodging the where's the rent square. We're being fairly oh, now then, it could give us a 3 here if it wants to. It hasn't. Could give us a 2 here if it wants to. There, you see there, and it will now be prepared. £10 off where's the rent. So even though the machine is super happy, and I'm sure it will try and correct. Let's just. I could have held better there, then, but there we are. It won't do it off the end here. It won't do any big repeats off the end. It seems to be capped at 1 repeat. It will never hit the red 100. And even if you get a red 50, where you would think at least, will it give me another chance there? No, it won't. It looks to be it's still stuck. I don't know how far back to percentage it has to get for it to allow you to get 2 throws up at the top. Because you can see at the minute there, it still seems to be locked in to 1 throw and then killing me. I don't know why. That is another curiosity in the code. Let's take it up one more time. So, your answers here. I think the final analysis on Andy Capp is that the red £100 completely blocked, impossible to attain, and in terms of what it will be prepared to pay off the top values there, A, it seems to be capped at 1 repeat, and then B, that means of course that even if you get the red 50, it can't even do a 150 off the red £50 up at the top. Because we've got... So we just collected red 5 here. You'd think the machine still owes us 500 quid. I mean, are we even going to get 1 repeat there? See, they actually jumped off repeat as well. But £5 plus repeat chance, it won't even... There you are. Now it'll use a where's the rent square. So it has... I think it's exposed to an extent here that something of how the code on these things works... And it's really, really not pleasant. I mean, I assume that this thing will get back to percentage eventually. I mean, we have got our mega streak is consistently red there. So I guess it will course correct in the end. But the way that it's going to do it is certainly not... Oh, God, let's just hold that there. Can we avoid the... No. The way that it's going to do it is not going to be from that square at the end, I don't think. Even if you just take loads of repeaters up there, that doesn't look to me like that's going to be the way to do it. It's going to have to be off the main feature. Oh, God, it's painful. It's painful. It's painful. And down again, if you can believe it. So let's just see. What have we got red? We've got a red 100 there. Red tenner. We haven't actually got... Oh, I could have held better there. Sorry. But sometimes it feels a little bit laggy sometimes before the hold button flashes. Let's hold... If we hold them all there, that'll put us to there, won't it? Can we avoid a 1? There we are. We've got one more... Another shot at the top. Red tenner. Landed on a red tenner. We'll collect a tenner. And it's a true skill repeat. So there we are. But I think that will be it. I do not think it will repeat again. So in fact, you saw it very, very quickly jump. So it's not that it's a true skill anyway. And there you go. Next spin. Straight onto a where's the rent. I haven't seen it do 2 skill repeats. Even on just a 5er or a 10er, you will get, if you get a skill repeat, it will only be one of them. Without exception, in my experience. So that says to me, it cannot do a 150. But we already know it can't do a red 100. And the red 50, which I have taken a few times, 1 repeat is your lot. So you can technically get a jackpot at the end of the trail, but the only way that you're going to get it is off a £50 plus repeat chance, which of course technically isn't quite a jackpot because it takes a credit for it. That's the other thing with the repeats at the top, it does take a credit. So if you say collect a £5 plus a red £5 at the end of the trail, and you are on your last credit, it will want an extra £1, another credit. There you go, see that was actually invincible. So I mean, it knows it's got to catch up. It does know it's got to catch up. I mean, there's no doubt about that. How far it will catch up, I really don't know. So, can you remember? I can't actually remember how much I had in the bloody bank. Because that's how you want to catch your, or count your 150 rather, isn't it? So, shall we see if we can get that bloody... I wonder if we can get that flow streak at the end. I wonder what that would go for if we took it. Because we know what the mega's going to be, don't we? The mega's going to be plain and simple. In fact, we could actually do with being on the outside board, really, couldn't we? Because we can't... Oh, that might actually just give us the mega. Well, okay, that fucked up, so... Oh, we only had £1. We only had £1 in. That makes it super easy. So there you go. Just as a little bit of a curiosity, a little bit of a follow-on from that previous video. I had this thing rattling for over £7,000 through it and did not hit a red 100. But unfortunately, the machine sort of broke when I did actually collect something. However, in the aftermath there, I've got more sensible stats there. With the machine is way, way, way under percentage, but it does at least seem to be functioning. The red £100 is still never a thing. Also found out that your repeats at the top are capped, and also it's got that weird little quirk where the second you take a win out of it, it unlocks something and it decides to use the where's the rent square. The second you collect so much as a £5 up at the top, it will have a where's your rent or 2 out. So I'm not quite sure what little quirk is going on there. Well, it has on the 150, and I should think so too, but doesn't really help us in terms of the lot. I mean, this machine is still going to be way, way, way under percentage, but I guess it will just correct. I assume it will correct by just doing sort of Mega Street boards until it has got back to percentage. So we'll just let the Mega Street finish. That's kind of about it for this one, really. And we know that's going to be fun. We know it can't do any more. And we've got that 150 in the bank there, ready to collect out. So there you go. Just a little bit of a deconstruction of Andy Capp for this one. I just wanted to see. It kind of it got me interested. In that first video where it had 400 quid off me and wouldn't give a red £100, I decided to investigate further, and that is the result of that investigation. So thank you very much for watching. Do hope you've enjoyed this video, and I will catch up with you next time. But for now it is goodbye.
Ciao.